All right. Once this is done loading over, we'll start. We're at 98%. I started a transfer before I started this, and to make sure it doesn't mess with the connection of the stream, I'm gonna wait till it's done. All right. So right into the captain's meeting. Let's see here. What do I have up first? So very first, uh, what I want to say is, so with the new fishing app, the new fishing chaos app, if anybody experiences any issues, please hit me up first, or go directly to the app. These guys have been essentially bending over backwards for me. Any questions I had. We're not a extremely large scene, so all the requests and demands that I'm making for them to go in and make those adjustments for me, I'm extremely appreciative of. So if anyone has any app issues, just let me know. That way we can nip anything in the bud right away. Next is the question: how many tournaments can you fish? You can fish as many tournaments as you want. There's no limit on our end. If I see down the road an issue where it's the same person or people winning both tournaments constantly, I will create something to deter that. It won't be a hard stop. You can't join both. It'll be some form of placed in the top X for so long in this tournament. You can't join this tournament. It's not going to be a hard stop because I don't want to completely eliminate people's ability to fish both. But if it ends up being a problem, we'll work to figure it out. But it really shouldn't be. That slot tournament should be up to anyone's ability to win. With that hard stop being 32 inches, literally anyone in the country can win that thing. So I don't foresee it being an issue down the road, but it was asked, so I thought I'd address that. Catfish King qualifier. To qualify for our Catfish King tournament that's going to happen in July, I'm going to start talking with more people to decide what kind of format we're going to do. It's more than likely going to be some kind of pool play for the first half of the month and then some kind of bracket style tournament for the second half of the month. But logistically, we'll figure that out down the road. But your Catfish King qualifiers, just remember, in addition to placing first and second in a tournament, you also have to compete in at minimum 3 events, and it could be any 3 events that the national scene holds. And moving on. Last thing for Catfish King. If you place third in an event where the first 2 are already qualified, that does not mean you qualify. Loki, get out of here. Sorry, I got a puppy. Loki, get out. If you place third in an event where the top 2 already qualify for Catfish King, that does not mean you qualify. We're trying to limit the qualifiers for the Catfish King to make it more meaningful. There's still 36 to 48 opportunities to qualify to take top 2. So there's still that chance to have that many individuals, but we also want to make sure for the Catfish King, it's the best of the best that get in there. All right, on to results or current standings for February. Current standings for February. This is the regional month-long in Kayak and Cats. I'm currently winning that one. A real quick caveat on all this before we go into it. February was a really odd month for everyone in the country. I'm essentially winning this because no one could fish. Because the weather was so bad. But, I mean, I'm still kind of proud for being in first on this one. I'm leading this one at 46.75 inches over 5 fish. Ryan Bortz fished, I think, 1 or 2 times this month. But one of those are a flathead, which is really cool. And he finished at a funny number, 69 inches. And then Morgan and Anthony, I really don't even think they got to fish once this month. So that is that. We're going to move on over to the March month-long. Oh, that's me. I'm sorry. Moving on over to the March month-long. That's this one. Wait a second. Hold on. It's supposed to be February. It's not supposed to be March. March comes second. Okay, I'm so sorry. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. The February month long, I wrote down on my spreadsheet here the incorrect names. So when I was going through and opening everything up, I opened up the incorrect tournaments. That should be the month long. That should be the slot. March month long. March slot. All right. February month long. Let's go down to their current standings. Jesse O'Neill. So in a 7-fish tournament for a month-long event, it's a half-inch difference right now at the top. Jesse O'Neill has 253.75 inches. Dan Shida has 253.25 inches. Ronnie Pollin has 234.5 inches. And I have 198.5 inches. I believe there were 6 competitors in this one. Yep, 6 competitors in this one. Dave McKinley and Clint Seeger have not posted a fish this month. But again, weather. Not everyone was able to get out this month. And let me go here. And real quick, if anyone has a question why this fish is yellow and not green like the rest. So what ended up happening was, if you hear squeaking in the background, that's my puppy playing with a toy. When he submitted this fish, for some reason the picture didn't appear. So I went in and I clicked challenge and I sent him a message and asked him to send me the picture. So when he sent me the picture, I was able to manually upload it from my side. Just so everyone knows, that's what happened on that picture. There was one other thing. Ronnie Pollin, I'm going to pick on you here for a second. So check this out. I'm jealous he caught a flathead. But it was initially submitted, I think, at 32.25. However, so check this out. The way our flathead, so you're allowed to measure flatheads on their belly. I actually encourage it because we don't want to damage these fish. But it's based on the farthest length that I can visually see where the tail is touching the board. It has to be touching the board. So if you look here, 31.5 inches. That's the farthest I can physically see the catfish touching the board. So I did move it down to 31.5 instead of 32.25. Just in case, Ronnie, you had any questions on that. And this isn't me calling you out on the video. It's just like this group of guys right now, I consider myself really good friends with, so I don't feel like anyone here would be upset with using any of their stuff as an example. But I just wanted to, for education purpose for other people too, flathead waters and flathead time is around the corner. Just remember when you're submitting the fish, it's the farthest where your tail's touching. Alrighty. Let's move over to the slot tournament. Dan is the winner here because I'm here, not fishing, and I'm not fishing tonight. So the slot tournament for February, Dan won 32-inch max. I came in second. There was only 2 of us competing. Next month, you'll see how many guys are competing. I'm really excited for that. Moving on, we have, I don't think I went over the results of the 2 over 2 under on a video, so I'm going to give Patrick Murray his due here. He won this tournament. I forget his total inches, but he ended up coming in first. Clint Payne came in second. I came in third. That was our short 2 over 2 under tournament for February. Moving on, Ohio versus Texas. Ohio currently is in the lead, unless there's Texas guys out like right now that I'm unaware of. But Ohio more than likely is going to win this. I actually messaged all of the anglers and I told them, hey guys, look, let's do this. I asked them if they were okay with doing this proposed plan that I'm about to tell you guys. Texas had a 1 in 100 year snowstorm. They lost tons of power. There are places without water and stuff right now. So I asked them, do you guys mind if we continue fishing as is? So Ohio won this month. Even though it was only 2 people who really got the fish, Ohio won this month. We're going to use the same entries, and we're just going to have another tournament in a couple months down the road when it's warmer. That way, it's not what's the word I'm looking for? That way, a natural disaster isn't preventing people from fishing. And if Texas somehow wins that tournament, we'll have a third one, all with the same entries to determine the winner. Because I felt kind of guilty that Texas didn't really get to fish and it was out of their control. It's one thing if all 4 of their anglers were being lazy. It's another thing when you have a 1 in 100 year turn or 1 in 100 year event, and all 8 anglers were cool with it. If there was a single angler that said like, nah, I want either to win or lose, we wouldn't be pushing it out. So the plan with Ohio versus Texas, Ohio wins this month. There's going to be no payouts. We're going to have another Ohio versus Texas a few months down the road when the majority of the anglers can guarantee fish. And then if Ohio wins that, Ohio will win on the money. If Ohio loses that one, we'll have a third one, and winner take all in the third event. That way, this month's results aren't completely wasted. My buddy and I, my buddy Mark and I, we went out and we put the time in. So to make sure that our time wasn't completely wasted, we're gonna make it a best 2 out of 3. So that's that for Ohio versus Texas, and the plan on that going forward. On to March. Okay, so March month long, 7 biggest fish. We got 9 anglers entered already. I believe this is all the anglers with YouTube channels, unless somebody has entered since I last looked. Myself, Ethan Miller, Clint Seeger, and Dan Chida. I just want to repeat something I said earlier. You can fish as many tournaments as you want, open or slot, it doesn't matter. If we see that being an issue down the road, we can always change it. Over to the anglers: Donald Burdett, myself, Ethan Miller, Patrick Murray, Clint Seeger, Stan Smith, Williams. If it's Sobers or Sobers, I'm not sure. I'm going to say Sobers. Dan Chida and Cody Thomas currently are signed up for the open month long. Remember, it is your 7 biggest fish on the month. Yeah, don't have anything else to say about that one. Slot. This is a hard cutoff, 32 inches. It's your 5 biggest fish up to 32 inches. That fish tail cannot touch that 32-inch line. So the largest fish you can submit is 31.75. Some people might argue, hey, that's not a 32-inch slot. You should make it 32.25. It's all arbitrary. Whatever you want to call that line, you can't touch a certain line. We're calling it the 32-inch line. So your largest fish that you can submit should be 31.75. You should not be submitting any 32-inch fish to this leaderboard. If you do, they will if you do and it somehow makes the board, it'll get disqualified. But it's your 5 biggest, and I'm going to be a very strict judge on this. It's starting to get a little bigger. If I feel like you have a closest slot fish, I'm going to ask for video evidence. And if you cannot provide video evidence that you did everything in your power to make the fish longer than 32 inches, then the fish will be denied. So what I mean is, let's say, and I actually might use a video Dan sent me as an example. Let's say you have a 31.75 inch fish and you submitted it to the leaderboard, and I see its back is curved or its tail fin is spread really wide. Well, it's your responsibility to get on video. You did everything in your power to make that fish longer than 32 inches. It's not your responsibility to prove you took 1,000 pictures of it at 31.75. It's your responsibility to unequivocally prove you cannot stretch him past that slot limit. I will be very strict on this, no matter who it is. And I'm saying that now because I'm about to click on the anglers, and you're going to see a very prominent angler in our community who's also in this tournament. You got Ryan Bortz with Blue Collar Fishing, Donald Burnett, Justin Ferris, Eric Jacobs. We got JJ in here with Kayak Catfish, myself, Ethan Miller, Clint Seeger, William Sobers, and Dan Chida. So like I said, it could be Kayak Catfish, it could be me, it could be my best friend Ryan, Clint, Dan. I don't care who you are. If you're close to that, slot limit, make sure you take a video of it. Keep it in your back pocket just in case I ask. This is kind of unique, and I think this tournament format right here is what's going to separate us from everybody in the industry. And this tournament format right here is what is going to bring the whole country together. So I am going to be a little more strict, and I don't want to lose any friends over it. All right, so that's me dumb being strict me. So now back to having fun. Over to the Bluegrass Catfish Bash. It's a $100 entry at the end of this month. It's at Kentucky Lake. We're really looking forward to it. You're going to be able to stay at Lindhorst Family Resort. It's going to be, fires. Bring brews if you want. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to be able to fish Kentucky Lake all the way up to the 2 bridges north and south of it. Excuse me. It's a giant area to fish. We're going to be alongside a big boat tournament at this time as well. Details are in here. Click on the hyperlink for the address to Lyndhurst. On over to the next one. I'm going to start either a monthly or a quarterly event at a local lake here called Cohen Lake. We're going to see how well it does. This is a very unique event. It's going to be kayak, bank, or boat. This lake is small enough. You can fish on a kayak, bank, or boat, and really no one has an advantage. The biggest disadvantage would technically be on bank, but you can still drive around the lake in the fishing time and get hit multiple spots and hit multiple depths. But I want to make it bank, boat, and kayak. It has a 10 horsepower limit. There's really no advantage boat to kayak either. So the only thing that's different in this that the boaters aren't used to is you can fish with two people in the boat, but you can still only use two rods per registered individual. So if you want to rock 4 rods in your boat, each individual has to be registered and they're responsible for their own 2 rods. This will be a little harder to police. Again, us in the kayak world, we're used to honor system. We're going to rely on boaters on the honor system. And if there's any kind of issues or drama, I'll nip it in the bud right away, and I'll just remove boaters from the event. It's that simple. So boaters, we're asking you, play by the rules. I know that's not what you're used to, but it would be really nice to incorporate all 3 worlds into one event and have a consistent event out there where all 3 worlds can get together at a monthly or quarterly basis, just depending on how well this goes. Another talking point, because it was brought up twice, and then we'll do a little Q&A really quick. Gas motors. Somebody just asked me about it today, or brought it up today. My buddy Justin talked about is gas legal a month or 2 ago with me, and another buddy of mine talked to me about it today. Gas motors are not legal on the kayak. In my opinion, there's a single line that separates kayaks from boats in the current day, and that is gas motors. We're essentially the really good kayaks out there today are essentially mini boats. Like let's be real, they're mini boats. The kayaks of today are better and safer than the John boats of yesterday. So we got to draw a line somewhere, and that line right now is gas motors. Once we start tossing gas motors on these kayaks, you're essentially now in a boat. You're not in a kayak anymore. Which one can argue we're not in kayaks to begin with, but that's the line we're drawing. And I am in the process of making more how-to videos around the functionality, how to measure a fish, etc. If there's any type of video you want to see, like if you're getting a question, the way I get ideas for videos is other anglers get questions and say, hey, it would be easier if you just had a video on it. Just hit me up and send it over. But besides that, Q&A now. All right, so number of rods. Good question. You're allowed 4 rods total, and you're allowed 4 hooks total when you're fishing in this scene. So that's to try and bring the field together for states that cannot use 4 rods. For instance, my state, Ohio, when you're inland, you can only use 2 rods, but you're allowed to use up to 3 hooks per rod legally. So if you're in Ohio and you're inland and you're competing, you could put 2 hooks per those 2 rods. You have 4 hooks out there, and now you have 4 opportunities to catch fish. If you're in a state that allows unlimited rods, say Kentucky, you could put 4 rods out there, but none of those rods can have more than 1 hook, because the maximum amount of hooks you're allowed to have in your kayak at a time is 4. So I don't care how many rods you have, as long as you don't have more than 4 rods out, as long as your hook amount doesn't exceed 4. That is almost a universal rule everyone in the country can work with. That gives everyone 4 opportunities to catch a fish. You're still at a disadvantage if you're 2 baits on one rod, because you're still only covering that much distance with that one line, but at least you still have those 4 opportunities. It's not perfect, but it's better than only letting somebody with 2 rods have 2 baits out at a time. The tournament ID. Okay, so tournament IDs, they are released 7:30 the night before the tournament. So for all the month-longs, they should be set up to be released in 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes. I don't release them on the stream because I just mise en place. I like everything to be ready before I go live, and I like everything to be ready. My identifiers are ready for the rest of the year. Is it unfair that I have access to all of them? Yes. You're more than welcome to accuse me of cheating, but I'm not. I'm cheating with all these 25-inch fish. But yeah, the identifiers are always released 7:30 p.m. the night before any of the events. In-person tournaments might be a little different. For example, the tournament we're having, the Kentucky Bluegrass Bash, we might release that in person the morning of at Lyndhurst. So, but we'll have another captain's meeting when we're there, and closer to. Let's see here. Even on a boat. Oh, actually, there's nothing special in there you guys can't see. I'm going through the chat history just to make sure I didn't miss any questions. River's too high. I agree. Yeah, rivers are really high here too. That stinks. I lost my anchor yesterday. Not because of the river though, because I'm an idiot. Um. Okay, so if you need video evidence, I don't care how you get the video evidence. It could be a 10-second video on your phone. You can take a clip on your GoPro. Just be ready to be questioned if you have a really close if you have a really close slot fish that I feel like can get more length. All right. I don't see any more questions. Hit me up on Facebook, Kayak Mike. Again, I want to stress if you have any issues with the app, please hit me up personally or hit them up before making any kind of post. Just because I would feel bad. They've literally been bending over backwards to me. I've been asking them to do things, and they've been done within a month of almost every single request I've asked. So I would like to give them the courtesy of if there's an issue, let me know so we can try and fix it before it becomes an issue for other people. Does our picture need to include no. Okay, that's a great question. Your picture does not need to include time and location. It will automatically include that on the back end. That's information I will see and nobody else will see. Make sure you have your GPS and timestamp turned on your phone. I don't remember what setting specifically it's called. Just do a quick YouTube on how to make sure it's set up. There's a test. I set up a test tournament. Go out to the test tournament environment in Kayak and Cats. Go out to the test tournament in our club on Fishing Chaos. Submit a couple fish or submit a couple pictures and let me know you submitted them, and I can go in there and I can check to see if I'm getting your timestamp and location on those pictures. Just walk outside, take a random picture. I mean, I'm going to know where you live, but just go somewhere, take a picture, make sure you know where you took that picture, and then I can literally send you a screenshot of what it's telling me. That way you know if that function's on or off. So, yeah, that's actually a great question. All right, we're going to wrap this up. I think I've been going about 22 minutes. I like to keep these between 15 and 25, so best of luck everyone this month, and thank you guys for joining. This is a really pleasurable experience so far, and let's keep growing this. Let's try and get 10 anglers in every tournament every month. I'm gonna let this go just a little longer because every time I stop early, it doesn't pick it up